From each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are. From memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight. Reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 122nd Disney feature-length film from October the 8th of the year 1975. It is a film called The Best of Walt Disney's True Life Adventures. Though this may be the 122nd feature-length film that we've watched, it's the first best of film that we've watched of mostly previous films that we've already watched. I know not all of the True Life Adventures were feature length, so we haven't watched them all, but we sure watched the best of them all. I'm not even gonna read what I have for notes here because I'm sure it's probably the same as the synopsis on account of it's a best of. So over to you for the synopsis on the best of Walt Disney's True Life Adventures.
Animals of all kinds are filmed in different moments of habitat.
Oh, I guess my details are way different than yours. I'm going to read you my details then. This film is comprised of highlights from the Academy Award-winning True Life Adventure series of 13 feature-length and short subject nature documentaries from the years 1948 through 1960. Any other facts like that you have about the best of Walt Disney's True Life Adventures?
No, I did not write down any facts. I just took notes.
Yeah.
So,
All
if
right.
you would like to dive on into that, or
yeah.
did you have something you wanted to
No.
talk about?
Never thought I would have to watch the stupid Rams again. For those that don't know, rewatch whatever episode that was. And then also, I'm interested to know what the best, what did I always say, like what animals would win in a fight? But okay, yeah, go ahead and dive right in.
Perfect. All right, so the best of Walt Disney's True Life Adventures was released only on VHS in the United Kingdom in the 1980s. To date, it has never been released in any physical format in the United States. The film opens up with a salute to Walt Disney, a pioneer of nature films and animal lover. It talks about his creation of Mickey, Donald, Snow White, and all the animals in that, and then Dumbo and Bambi. And then it's followed on by a compilation of excerpt segments from the True Life Adventure films, showcasing animals of all kinds depicted in dramatic, fascinating moments of habitats, and you see like different shots from the American prairie to the North American desert to Africa to the Amazon jungle and even to the Arctic.
We also have the return of the spinning globe for the first time in 15 years.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to see that again. So of the True Life Adventure films, we have Seal Island, which came out in 1948, In Beaver Valley, 1950, Nature's Half Acre, 1951, The Olympic Elk, 1952, Waterbirds, 1952, Bear Country, 1953, Prowlers of the Everglades, 1953, The Living Desert, 1953, The Vanishing Prairie, 1954, The African Lion, 1955, Secrets of Life, 1956, White Wilderness, 1958, and Jungle Cat, 1960.
And we watched multiples of those.
We did, but we did not see them all. So,
Oh, we watched the best of them all.
supposedly. Of these, 9 Academy Awards in total from these nature documentaries. New form of screen entertainment. It set the rhythms of nature to music. And then all creatures live in their mysterious ways, and that was Walt's way of capturing that. So, when the film starts, we have bison as the first animals that are covered in this compilation of animals.
Bad
Uh,
stuff.
yeah, we enter a fighting scene, which will trigger Jeffrey.
Stupid Rams, dude.
Okay, you're not even on the right animal.
Well, why are you talking about the one that's going to trigger me?
Because it's on bison and they were fighting in the exact same way. But anyway, pay attention. So we enter a fighting scene of bison, which I said would trigger Jeffrey. And then we have a Disney storm with mimicking hoofbeats. Did you swallow your drink? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Then we go back to the snow-covered mountains with the rams and Jeffrey saying, "Stupid rams."
Yo, for those that haven't watched, go back and listen to the real rant. For those that have watched, these stupid Rams. Even our dog is coming to join the fight about how stupid these Rams are. Um, they're dumb. And they lost all their brain cells. That's proving how dumb they are because they were smashing their heads against each other for a mate. And our dog agrees. Go ahead.
All right, so quote Jeffrey, "Idiots." And then KJ giggle fits. That's the synopsis of us watching that
So does that make
section.
it a giggle it since idiots giggle
Maybe,
fits?
maybe. Anyway, then we found strutting sage grouse, along with some other birds and references to the First Nations people, and this possibly where they found their inspiration for their footwork, while music reminiscent of a powwow.
Mhm.
All right. Um, Mysterious of migration caught on film. Birds, geese, ducks enter the ice capades again, if you remember that, which we found out when we watched that True Life Adventure film, wasn't even technically in the section where it's supposed to be. It was something that was refilmed. But yeah, so you get to see the ducks and their ice capades again. Whooping cranes, and it said something about them being nearly extinct, which I don't think that's true, but maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't look it up because I was busy taking notes. Nature telling her story. There's no past, no future, just the present now. Then we see a prairie falcon swooping in on a prairie dog.
Yep.
Uh, then we go over into the living desert. There's some nature's themes. Uh, there preservation of the species. And then we see the wasp and the tarantula. If you remember, this wasp risking her life to lay one single egg to survive on a tarantula carcass. Well, we get to see that again. So that was, again, a thing. And we got to see her being attacked by some ants before she actually found the tarantula. But yet again, she is victorious for one single egg. Um, so from the wasp and tarantula, we then dart over to scorpion mating ritual, which basically was some square dancing sequence with a Disney owl watching from a distance. Anything to add there?
No.
All right. Walt's way was to look at animals with personalities. So we once again go back to see our little dearest friend, the scrawny ground squirrel named Skinny, who was always getting the cold shoulder from his fellow ground squirrels. A Gila monster attacks, with Skinny being victorious, which gets him welcomed into the group finally. So yeah, Skinny makes his reappearance. Then we see some young antelope running off energy, but then being chased by a bobcat. We see panic giving the antelope a new burst of speed. The bobcat turns up short yet again and then gets treed on a cactus by wild pigs. It was just as hard to watch the second go around. All right. Then we see a hawk attack a rattlesnake, and then they discussed how two killers go into battle, but only one will eat. And I'm pretty sure it was the hawk. Another Disney rainstorm, and we see the desert blooming again. So all of a sudden dreary stuff becomes very colorful, and we have some life to the desert.
Yep.
Then we travel over to Mount Kilimanjaro and the African lions, the king of beasts, the largest member of the cat family. And then we then again discover how lions are more family-minded than their other feline cousins, I guess. And I believe this might be the first time in one of the Disney films that they reference how the male counter species is usually useless.
They mentioned it in the previous True Life Adventure.
Yes, in that one,
Yeah.
yes. But I think this was the first one that they did when they talked about the lions. Anyway, so then we travel over to an elephant herd and we talked about how their appetites match their size and that their trunk is a very resourceful tool. We get to see how they use that.
They like suck it up and then spit it in their, well, then shoot it into their mouths.
Yeah. And then we find hippos and hippo hoppers, and we discover that hippos are agile on land and water.
Is that how hip hop started?
Mm, probably not. Um, and then they are followed by birds and fish. When they talked about hippo hoppers, they were referencing a bird that would eat parasites off of the hippos.
Yep.
But then when the hippos were done with them, they would just go underwater. But then when they were underwater, they would be followed by fish.
Who would fish out of their mouth, just like in the old film.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. Anyway, then we go over to the Amazon forest. We see monkeys, birds, anteaters, sloths, and jaguar, or the jungle cat, if you do recall. The jungle cat's worst enemy is the jackery, which is also a crocodile. And then somehow from there, we traveled to Brazil and found Brazil's alligator cousin of the crocodile. And then we end up with a transition over to a symphony of the swamp with frogs and crickets. And it was quite a good time frame that this happened. That you just hear crickets in the background chirping and frogs croaking and making all sorts of noise.
Yeah, like our backyard.
And yet again, Jeffrey makes the comment about our backyard.
You know, our frogs love our backyard.
Yeah. So that happened. And then we have some comedy in the North American Bear and a tree that's handy for itches and the britches. I don't know if we watched that one. I can't
Yeah.
remember. It did seem familiar though. And then we see beavers and otters in the winter, which I'm pretty sure we did not see because I don't remember watching anything about beavers. And then we travel, I guess, up north with some glaciers breaking off into the water. Polar bears enter the picture, a bear of the sea as much as it is a creature of land, making him a constant threat. And then somehow we travel south again, and wolves enter the picture, and we discover that they teach pack lessons for the cubs, and which I would say pups, but I think they call them cubs, which is weird. Then we see the Wolverine, which I will still say is the one that will win all battles.
That's a polar bear?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that it would take on the polar bear, and the polar bear would probably finally be freaked out. Anyway,
Celebrity deathmatch.
there you go. So there you go. Wolverine still gonna win them all. And then back to the lemmings and the discussion of overpopulation and migration.
Yeah.
We won't go into that too much because just go watch the episode where we talked about it. And then to wrap up this compilation of nature films, we sidetrack over to birds once again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was over. So
It's true.
that was a very quick run through of
Yep.
something that probably should have not been put together.
Well,
But it was. So we watched
I have a
it.
take on that.
Okay.
Um, if you love animals, watch the True Life Adventure films. If you love Walt Disney and don't really care about animals, watch this. There you go. There's my take. It's not on streaming, so good luck. But we had to watch it because it's a best of feature-length film. It had dosey doing scorpions on it.
Yeah. Square dancing scorpions.
Yeah. So it's hip to be square. And we found out, speaking of that, where hip hop came from. But either way,
Not a fact. Not a fact.
any does this best of make
This
your
is
list?
not best of on my list, so my list does not change. IMDb gave
DB.
IMDb, sorry, I cannot talk today. Gave this a rating of a 6.9 out of 10. I rated it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't terrible. We've seen most of the films that were in this, but at the same time, I didn't really feel like I needed to watch it again. But I did for you.
Mhm.
But
For me?
no, for our guest listeners out there. Anyway,
For the completionists.
yes. So my list does not change, which is going to be 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Apple Dumpling Gang, The Strongest Man in the World, Napoleon and Samantha, Snowball Express, The Jungle Book, and The Aristocats.
So we have come to the conclusion that every single Disney film has an animal in it. This one just had a best of lots of animals. And just like all those previous animal true adventure films that we watched,
Mhm.
this is also not making my list, just like those ones didn't. So mine, speaking of animals, is number one, 101 Dalmatians, number two, Mary Poppins, three, Peter Pan, four, Robin Hood, five, Alice in Wonderland, six, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, seven, Babes in Toyland, eight, The Apple Dumpling Gang, nine, Napoleon and Samantha, and number 10 on the chopping block, The Aristocats. But we watched it. Um, Thank you for taking the dive with us. Our next film, maybe we'll have a little bit deeper of a deep dive. We're going to dive into
Do you think this
deep.
might be the shortest episode we've done thus far?
No, I think Victory Through Air Power was like 7 minutes long.
Are you sure?
I also think that there was an episode not that long ago where we recorded an entire episode and we didn't have audio, so we got mad at ourselves and we recorded it in like record speed. Um, so our next film is the final film of the year 1975. We made it to the end of 75. It came out on Christmas Day, so it's a Christmas miracle. Film number 123 is The Present, and it is a film called Ride a Wild Pony, again from Christmas Day 1975. You can find us on a couple things. You can find us on Instagram. If you want to follow along, thank you so much for telling your friends. We are also on Spotify if you want to hear our lovely voices, catch a sneak peek, all that fun stuff. Give us a like or a subscribe. Thank you so much. We are also on YouTube if you want to see our animals who have been popping in and out a lot lately. It's probably going to storm or something, Disney storms. So we are on YouTube, Deep Dive into Magic. Thank you so much. We do a lot of stuff over there. Also, we are on the email if you want to reach out to us about this best of film, any other best of films, or about how we've watched all these already. So verbatims, deep dive into magic pod at gmail.com. Now, going forward, we might switch up our routine of how often we put it out, but either way, when they come out, they'll be out there for you. But either way, thank you for joining us. The next one is Ride a Wild Pony, speaking of animals, for 123.
Thanks for deep diving the magic. Bye.
Bye.